Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alpha Live's podcast. It's episode number 3, and we are back. Myself, Anthony Jordan, Henry Padette. Welcome you to another episode, and Henry, again, another fabulous episode. A bit of an international twinge to this episode, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, certainly the Alpha Live podcast is going continental. I won't say going Dutch because we're not. Well, at least I can't say about you, but I'm certainly not. But yeah, it's a real international flavour. I mean, you know, one of Britain's premier kart racers, one of the very, very few professional kart racers who's currently leading the European Championships, Joe Turney, is on.
Yeah.
And as well as Michael Hitchcock from the Swiss Rotax Challenge, which of course Alpha Live are now covering and made their debut covering just recently.
Yeah, they have indeed.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be a real international flavour, and also a world record setting. It's a world record attempt of a podcast.
Yes, Joe Paterson.
Yes.
Yeah, Joe Paterson joins us. He's an absolute madman, but for a good cause. A madman for a good cause. 24-hour kart race attempt at the British 24-hour held at Teesside in late July. He'll be joining us as well. So a great concert of drivers joining us today. We'll head across to our first guest in just a moment. We'll go on to our first guest of the show then, where we're here with Joe Paterson. Joe, firstly, how are you? You're taking part in the British 24-hour, attempting a, solo world record of the longest distance travelled within 24 hours in a kart. Firstly, are you insane? And secondly, how are you today, though?
Yeah, I think I am insane. But no, all good. Well today, thank you. Just getting fit and ready to rock for a few months' time for the Guinness World Record attempt.
Well, Joe, talk us a little bit about yourself, because obviously for a name in karting to attempt something like this, have you got much karting background or much pedigree?
Yeah, I've been doing karting since I was about 8 or 9. Done a little bits and bobs in Super 1, and then I went over to America to do the American Champs out there. I was living out there on and off for 2 to 3 years with Jay Howard, who's ex-Indy car driver. Done really well out there. But again, we had an offer to do IndyCar Pro, and just didn't have the money. Financial side was a bit tight, so we came back here and started EasyCart. Went into EasyCart was a bit something different, and we won the championship 3 years on the trot there, 2013, 2014 and 2015, and then had to retire because lifestyle change, wedding, marriage, house, kids, and that all changed. So I'm finally getting back into it and doing this mad attempt.
Yeah, I think the marriage side, kids come into it, can always be, always stops your racing career at a point, but completely understandable, of course. But nice to be back into the kart and running with it as well. Now, myself, I think the longest race I've ever done is 90 minutes in a kart. Henry, how long have you actually raced for in a solo attempt?
Well, I mean, my old team did the Le Mans 24-hour Pro Kart race twice, 2004 and 2008 now. But I mean, there was 4 of us in the team there. But I mean, each stint was about 2 hours to 2.5 hours long. That was enough. That was a tank of fuel, effectively. But nothing like what Joe was attempting to do. But I'm pleased to say I remember commentating once on Joe during his EasyCart career at Buckmore Park, maybe 2014, because of course EasyCart has morphed into what is now the Birrell ACR series, which morphed into
Daniel
Carter series.
Yeah. But I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, you know, so obviously it's Teesside, isn't it? It's the British 24 hours at Teesside. How? First of all, what's the existing record? I mean, do we know? I mean, Joe, I'm assuming you know what you've got to beat.
Yeah, well, so I've got a little team around me. Obviously, John, my brother-in-law, he was my mechanic through my EasyCart days, and then I've got my dad, who's the brain box, if you like, working it all out, track length, what lap times I've got to do. So we've worked it out So basically, the record is 945.6 miles, or 1,521 kilometres, and that works out. I've got to break the record, 928 laps on my own.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
But I mean, looking at the results from
before,
looking at the results from the previous Teesside 24 hours, you've got yourself an idea of what rough pace you need to go. I mean, considering that a good lap time is what, 1 minute 15, 1 minute 16, something like that for a pro kart.
I think it's like a 1:19 or something. Yeah, somewhere around those areas.
Oh,
I'm sure the lap someone was it Team Tate done 1 minute 13 last year, and I think the higher karts do an average of 1:19, 1:20.
Right, yeah, because you've really got to sort of factor in the fact there's how many karts do the race at DJ? Like
hundreds,
80, 90, 100
yeah.
karts. So you've got traffic to deal with.
It's ridiculous.
The fatigue to deal with. I mean, what physical preparations? I mean, obviously there's a physical side of it, but then there's a mental side of it as well.
Yeah, physical wise, like I say, I've got back into karting this year after about 6 years out, and now it's in BPEC series, and I'm racing under Adam Nichols' awning with Red Racing. That's with driver Scott. Everyone might know him as Scottish. Everyone knows him around the paddock as Scottish, he's been great. And we're just basically getting as much track time as I can in that, and also getting the racecraft back. And we were quite quick straight away out of the box at Granny Gores at the first round, which I was happy about. It's more my hands, believe it or not. It's the aching. I'm starting to bed into it now, but upper body, neck, it's okay. But that's over a course of 3 hours driving, not 24 hours. I'm pretty sure by the end of 24 hours, I'm going to have to get, forklift out the car, I think.
I always found that, when I was racing endurances, the neck was fine. That bit's fine. But you end up gripping the steering wheel far tighter than you need to. And the more tired you get, the tighter you grip, because you're afraid of, sort of like losing grip. And what have you, but that's going to be something that track time will solve. But then it's what happens when it's 3 a.m. and you've got 70 other higher kart bandits around you that you're either being overtaken by them, and they're not. Those drivers aren't doing what like a proper pro kart racer would yourself would do, and also the fact that you've got the mental faculties as well. You've got to make sure that how are you going to make sure that you're still as sharp to react to, other drivers.
That's the thing. A lot of people who did know I was doing it before I announced it. They just said the hardest part is obviously the night stage when it goes on dark floodlights and everything. But luckily, the industry of the job I'm in, I'm a lorry driver. I do nights, so that could help. But at the end of the day, you're driving around flat out within reason. It's going to be tiring. We're going to have to work out brakes and stuff like that. But my aim is get out of it, get out early, and try and get as high up in, do as much as I can within the first 12 hours. Then we can work out and rest and strategy for, right, you can have an hour break or 45-minute break and then go back out and do it again. So that is it. That's the aim of the game, hopefully. But I can say this, but it can all change on the day.
It can all change, because another one you've got to factor in, of course, is the weather as well. If it starts to rain, you're not allowed to run treaded tyres on the Pro Karts, are you? You're on slicks.
Yeah. Let's say, obviously, if the rain fell on how much it did last year, we should be okay. And also, it's kind of that's a lot easier on the body, so you can still pound around, and it's not as ferocious on the body. But again, that is all dependent on weather. But end of July surely the weather must be lovely and hopefully 30 degrees.
Hey, we're in the UK. We're in the UK.
Well,
Anything could happen.
And it's up north.
And it's up north. But no, I mean, I think it's hard for people to fathom the attempt that you're trying to do here. I mean, it is a task. It is a task if you think about it, because Teesside as well, it's a bumpy circuit. It's not smooth. It's a challenge in its own. Like a 1-hour race around there alone is effort, and adding another 23 hours on top of that. You know, it's a lot to think about in terms of preparations for yourself. What are we doing in terms of, you know, fitness-wise? Is it like you're saying that the neck's fine, the upper body's fine, but the hands are a big factor as well? What are we doing there?
Yeah, well, I've got some. I went out and bought weights, and that's in the garage. So after, like later on today, I'm going to be having a workout, which I do every day, which is good for me, keeps me fit as well. But yeah, just try and do some hand workouts. Like you've got the grips, and you can just constantly gripping, just to create more strength in your hands. But you can have strength in your hands, and then you're going to bleed. Then you've got to think about, right, you're going to start blistering. So you just got to kind of prep every way you can. So I know that I'm ready. So I don't want to. If I'm fully prepared and it doesn't come out at the end of the 24 hours, then but I know deep down that I was fit enough and ready, and hope I know that's the best I can do. Is just I'll go in there fully prepared, fully fit, ready to go, and I know that I'll be fine. It just all depends on the day. That's all I can do, really. It's just like say you're relying on Mother Nature, really.
Yeah, you got that one. And in terms of the motivation behind doing this, what's making you want to actually attempt this record as well?
Well, Howard Kamen done it many years ago in hire car. I can't remember what the year, but he done it for Healthy Heroes. And me and Howard would go back a long way in Club 100 days. And I said, I've always wanted to do that. So it was kind of like a bucket list, if you like. But unfortunately, my niece, Dottie, September 2020, she was diagnosed with a brain tumour, inoperable brain tumour, 2020. And obviously, as you know, just the family all broke down and it was very hard. We were trying to support her as much as we can. And then January 2021, my stepmother, Julie, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. So obviously we're going through Dottie, and then obviously Julie's ovarian cancer. It was horrible. It was a very hard 18 months for the family, and we all tried to put in together. So then I thought, you know what, this is the time. You know, I think it was kind of like a sign. This is the time. I know Ian Williams attempted it last year. So I thought, right, this is the time to go, right, you know what, let's get back in the go-kart, let's raise some money and do it for Dottie's Journey, who I'm doing it for, Dottie's Journeys Trust, and Ovarian Cancer Action.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. A great cause to do it for as well. And, of course, very close to your heart and, of course, close to the family as well. So I think the motivation behind this is really going to push you forward during those late hours in the night. Of course, when it does get to like that 3 o'clock in the morning mark, it usually does take the best out of people, really, doesn't it? But...
yeah, it does. It does. But at the end of the day, like my niece has just finished 18 months of chemo. At the end of the day, I kind of look at it as in like if she can do 18 months of chemo, she's now 5 years old. If she can do 18 months of chemo, I can drive 24 hours in a go-kart with no problem. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
My stepmom, she's now she's fully recovered. She's now all clear, got the all clear, which is fantastic. We caught it at the right time. But obviously, regarding Dottie, she's going to have it basically forever. Because she's inoperable, so it's just, or unless we find a future treatment. So hence, obviously, the money that we raise is basically for future treatment care for when she gets older.
And where can people go to help donate and help towards this achievement that you're trying to make here today, this weekend?
Yeah, again, it's all on my Instagram. That is Joe Paterson Racing. Then you've got my Facebook page, again, Joe Paterson Racing. Or the link, which I can send over. It's GoFundMe.com / Guinness World Record Attempt 2022.
Oh, I think we'll put all the links for everything like that in the descriptions of the YouTube video if you're watching this. If you listen to the podcast online or on Spotify or anything like that, I'm sure if you head over to the YouTube, we'll have the links available to all of that. But Henry, any final questions that you've got?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's an inspiring, it's an inspiring story, and somebody doing something positive out of something, terribly negative. I have to say that you sound as though that the preparation side of it is spot on. You've got a plan. You've got a target of a lap time. One thing, I mean, okay. You said about you wanted to go out and do as much as you can the first 12 hours and then have a break and, maybe see if you can figure out if you can take 45 minutes here. And this might sound stupid, but if all goes well and you get to hour 22 and you break the record, do you finish the race, or do you think, no, I'm done. I've done the record. I've done what I needed to do. I've broken the record. I'm going to stop. Would you carry on and see the checkered flag?
100%. At the end of the day, you're a racing driver. You always want to see the checkered flag. And my aim of the game is not just to beat it by a mile and then go, right, I'm calling it a day. I want to smash it. So one, it can't get broken again, hopefully. And also, again, it's just the whole point of it is the checkered flag drops and you start the race. You want to see that you want to see the checkered flag at the end, and you want to get that.
And I suppose if you absolutely smash it by many miles, you think, well, I cannot possibly ever do this again. I have done, so you've done it as you.
I want to do it again. I haven't even done it yet, and I don't want to do it. No, at the end of the day, it's all about raising money. If I get the Guinness World Record, that's a bonus. But at the end of the day, it's all about raising money, and if we get the Guinness World Record, it will be a bonus. But it's just all about the family coming together. That is the whole point. It's the karting family, karting community, all coming together, doing it all. They'll understand. They all get it, what we're doing, and it shows you how good the karting community is. And we all come together at hard times, tough times. So fingers crossed, it all goes swimmingly.
Best of luck to you. Best luck to you.
Thank you very much, guys.
I hope that you raise an awful lot of money, and that everyone in your family is well and can enjoy watching you smash a world record.
Thank you. Yeah, well, Dottie will be there on the weekend of the race, so she'll be like. So if anyone wants to come up to her and say hello, we've got stickers, badges that we're going to be giving out, and again, put it on the go-kart. We just like say it's all about Dottie, and also it's about raising awareness as well. On it all, because God forbid if it happens to anyone, it's all about raising awareness for Dottie as well. Yeah,
exactly. Well, Joe Paterson, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to chat to us today. You can catch all the action from the British 24-hour. That'll be taking part on the 29th and 31st of July this year. You can be involved in that one. Of course, the links for all the Just Giving pages will be in the description below. But yeah, Joe Paterson, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck for your record attempt.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Much appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now move on to the news, and well, news from all over the world, of course. We've got Formula One news, we've got karting news, we've got all sorts of news. I'd like to kickstart off with a bit of F1 because I know everyone wants to get that out of the way. Miami has just been at the day of recording, and we saw the fabulous Marina.
The marina that never was.
The marina that never was.
We were at PFI, which does have a real marina.
We do, yeah.
So we were coming to the British Championships and has a real marina, and Miami. But more importantly than the fake marina, I do believe, Anthony, that you have been staring at men's bottoms.
Well, I woke up this morning, unfortunately, through no fault of my own. I woke up this morning, scrolled through Instagram, came across a chap that most people will know, Valtteri Bottas, who seems to enjoy. Yes, Valtteri Bottas, I think, is coming to mind of this chap now. But yeah, he's posting pictures of that. So I don't know what the meaning behind the why he's doing it, but hey ho, I'm sure.
The Finnish people love saunas.
They do,
and
yes.
They wear very little in their saunas. So maybe it's got something to do with that.
I think after Drive to Survive, and it came out on there. I think it's now everywhere, isn't it?
Or is it a secret coded message to Mercedes that this is the part of Valtteri Bottas that Mercedes is going to be looking at most of the season?
I don't know.
Bizarre. Well, no, the back end of it.
Well, yeah, no, yeah. You make a valid point there. Yeah, so that's yeah.
That is what it is.
It is what it is. I woke up to that and I was very right. Okay. Like,
well,
unfollow Valtteri.
I was going to say, stop right there. You were very what? Well, we got some karting news. Lots of karting news. Right, should we start? Well, I mean, this is an international sort of flavoured show. So, I mean, obviously we've had the second round of the European Championships, which we're going to be hearing from Joe Turney a bit later on. I mean, Joe won that at Zuera. It's now at the halfway point of the Senior OK and the Junior OK Championships. But significantly, there was a first win in OK Junior for Nathan Ty for the Tony Kart team, who we know very well from these shores. And Zach Drummond, last year's British Cadet IAMI champion, was 6th overall. And we got a great situation in the European Championships, in the FIA European Championships, where Joe Turney leads senior and Nathan Ty leads junior. So that's really good. We've also had loads of drivers in action in the first round of the Rotax Euro Trophy. The Rotax Euro Trophy again. Now, my correctness, they went pay-per-view on the streaming.
I believe they did. Yeah, interesting. I'm not sure why, but they did. Yeah, again, it is what it is. It is what it is. But they did.
But once again, in Europe, in Rotax, Brits are smashing it. Mark Kimber won the DD2 final. He's leading the DD2 championship. It's only the first round. In juniors, Ethan Jeff Hall won and is leading the championship. Scott Marsh, second in the championship. Vinnie Phillips is third in the championship. So in juniors, British drivers 1, 2, 3. In senior, we've got British drivers first, third, fourth, and sixth. Sean Butcher is the current championship leader. Kai Hunter's third, Lewis Gilbert's fourth, and the reigning European champion, Callum Bradshaw, only sixth. Now, Mini Max, we've got Albert Friend and Rory Armstrong competing. Now, they compete in cadets in the UK. And you're thinking, well, why are they allowed to compete in Mini in Europe? That's because European rules state that you're allowed to move up a year earlier than you are in the UK. So it's a little bit confusing, but Rory Armstrong is fourth in the championship, and Albert Friend is 10th. IAMI Euro Series, not going quite as well in the IAMI Euro Series this year. I think that's a reflection of maybe X30 in the UK is taking a bit of a dip. I mean, in senior X30, we're at the halfway stage of the IAMI X30 Euro Series. The second one was at Marienborg in Belgium just recently. Oliver Greenall, he was 6th. He's the best of British drivers in seniors. He's a former junior and mini X30 champion in the UK. He's only 15th in the championship, and that's the best British placed driver in the seniors. Junior X30, Cathal Clark was 5th in the final, but Henry Jocelyn is the best placed British junior X30, and of course he's going to be in action very soon in the CIK Academy representing Great Britain. Jocelyn and Macaulay Bishop 3rd and 4th in the points, but they're within 10 points of the championship leader at the halfway stage of the season, so that's really promising. Mini X30, again, we've got a situation where there's loads of drivers that we see in the UK in cadets, but racing in Mini X30 in Europe. But I mean, Henry Domain, 2nd in the championship. Jesse Phillips, 3rd in the championship. Joshua Graham, 6th in the championship. Kit Belowski, 8th in the championship. So we've got 5 British drivers, with Antonio Witkowski as well, in the top 10 in Mini X30. So things looking very strong in some X30 classes, but not all. And in Rotax, well, Britain just keeps on smashing it all the way through. Fantastic. Easily the strongest Rotax nation at the moment, UK.
Yeah, definitely so. Definitely so.
Now, the FIA did. Oh, sorry, the FIA have punished Artem Severukin.
Yeah, they have.
He was disqualified from Portimao, so he was disqualified from the first round of the European Championships. He's had his license taken off him from the Italian.
He did.
Now, the Italian Federation. Now, the FIA put out a press release saying that they were going to have a hearing on April the 21st, where they were going to, have a phone call with Artem and basically dish out his penalties. They haven't then released anything official from that meeting.
They've not, have they? Yeah.
Which is a bit disappointing, really. I mean, so we don't know. I mean, obviously, he hasn't got a license, and he can't get a license, a Russian license, because no one from Russia can get a license yet.
No.
So his suspension is really open-ended. We don't know when he's going to be back. I'm sure he will be back, at some point, but we don't know when. But of course, that was good news for Joe Turney, who was, moved up from second to first in the results for Portimao. But that's it for the foreigners, I think. But best of British, Anthony. We've had the first 2 rounds of the Motorsport UK British Kart Championship.
We have indeed, yeah. X30 kick-started the season at Shenington for their round 1, and of course we've just had, of the date of this recording, we've just had round 1 for Rotax and Honda as well. Of course, KZ2, of course, with their first round at Shenington as well. But a fantastic weekend. Now, you were talking about Henry Jocelyn, of course, who's doing fairly well overseas, but then did quite well here in the British Champs as well. Took the win in his class in Junior X30. So, he's doing an absolutely fantastic job here and overseas as well, isn't he?
That final race of the season so far, the Junior X30 final from Shenington, I would advise you to go and check it out on the Alpha Live YouTube channel and watch it. It was superb. I mean, we had Kit Bolofsky won in Miami. Cole Denham, his first win in Honda.
He did. Yeah. Man of many words, Cole Denham. Yeah.
Yes, we had a first win for Scott Marsh in Minimax. Harry Burgoyne Jr. is trying to do a Dan Ginchard. He's trying to do both Junior X30 and Junior Rotax. He won Junior Rotax, second in X30, so he's leading both championships at the moment. Callum Bradshaw's back in the UK. He won Senior Rotax. In Junior TKM, Leon Frost took his first win, and Chris Whitten won in TKM Extreme. He's one of the most decorated TKM Extreme drivers in the history of the British Championship over the last 5 or 6 years. Harry Platten scored his first win in Senior X30. That's good for the hair. And we had a great KZ2 final with James Glenister coming out on top. So
yes,
I mean, I have to say, Shenington's, the finals were better at Shenington. The PFI finals, the Rotax classes, apart from Minimax, they were a little bit sedate, weren't they?
They were quite tame, weren't they? Much tamer than I thought they were going to be. I mean, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
Well, it shows that when PFI hosts the last round of the championships, the racing is off the scale.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I think that the drivers are all starting the season and they've all got a lot more to lose. So they were all, a little bit circumspect, I think.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, because like you said, PFI does bring out the best in everyone in the terms of racing. I mean, you get some fantastic races. I mean, all you have to do is look back at some of the Kart Masters rounds on the Alpha Live YouTube channel, some of the final rounds of the British Champs.
You'll ever see.
And there'll be some of the they are some of the greatest you'll watch. And I just feel like I was hyped up for some epic racing. And I just feel like it was good racing. Don't get me wrong, but it just seemed a bit. It was phenomenal. Yeah, some excellent driving.
The quality of the entries is second to none. It's better than ever. I mean, the Senior Rotax grid in the UK is so good. It's world class. And the same can be said for juniors. I mean, there were 60 juniors entered. But a lot of that has got to do with the fact that Harry Burgoyne and Strawberry Racing and Callum Bradshaw and Strawberry Racing have absolutely nailed the setup, and it's just working really well.
Yeah, they did.
So we
drive.
didn't see as much overtaking because they were absolutely on the money.
Yeah, they were. You did see those two just kind of drive away for the majority of the races. So you can't be mad at that at all because they got it right, and you can't fault someone for getting it right at all. It is what it is. So I mean, does this shake it up? Maybe going into the second round for them, thinking that teams are going to have to step up a little bit.
Well, I mean, the next round for the Rotax class is at Lark Hall in Scotland. That's a very, very different proposition. That's a real hand-lit track. It's less about power. It's more about, you know, the driving and getting the apexes, the corners, the elevation changes. So we are going to see the script is going to be flipped a little bit.
I think so, because you have to remember, you think turn 1 at PF5, very fast corner, very very technical. Turn 1 at Lark Hall is another story, because that's what, 1-2 triple apex corner, really?
It's triple apex corner, then you go down the hill, then you've got the new section, then you're going back up the hill, and then you've got hairpins.
It's so fast, that first section of track, and then, you know, so that's going to be a real one for drivers to get themselves nailed around. But you got to remember, last year I think it was X30 who were at Lark Hall. It wasn't the Rotax who were at Lark Hall, and Burgoyne Jr. won there as well. So, you know, he's not slow, especially within the Tony Kart team.
It's a perfect opportunity for him to really sort of, put a stamp on the championship. We do have one. You know, there's obviously one more bit of news that we have to share. A sad bit of news. Obviously, a lot of people will know that the British karting scene has been you know, in mourning in the last month or so with the loss of Ashley Todd, very suddenly and tragically. Ashley was the importer for the Kart Republic brand. He was a key member of the Argenti motorsport team, but he's been in racing and karting, you know, not just in the UK but all over the world for more than 20 years. He used to run Matthew Graham, his AMT racing team ran Matthew Graham for a long time, and Mash was also part of the team that helped Tom Joyner win the 2013 FIA World Karting Championship. I know that everyone in the paddock has been feeling his loss, you know, very keenly, and just you know, it's as are we. So unfortunately, that's not the happiest note to end the news on. But we would be remiss of us to not mark his passing by mentioning and paying tribute to a great man.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that's very well said. On to our second guest of the Alpha Live podcast. We've got Mike Hitchcock joining us. Mike, firstly, how are you today?
I am doing well, thank you. Yeah, it's a beautiful day in Switzerland, and the first of the summer, I believe. So, yeah, it started well, and it's still going well.
Weather's nice.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you very much. Weather's nice and sunny today. It's been raining and miserable here at Wilton Mill today. It's been not the best weather, but hey ho, it is what it is. Mike, of course, you're a big name in the sort of karting world. You know, you're racing in the Rotax DD2 Masters Championship and the Swiss Championships under the Kart Shop team. You gave your recent first go in the Rotax Grand Finals as well in Bahrain in 2021. I kind of want to kickstart off with that, I think, firstly. What sort of experience must that have been?
That was a ridiculous experience, incredible. I'd never expected such a huge event to be pulled together like that with drivers from around the world. I mean, what's it, 69 different countries in
about 69 nations. Yeah, it was. Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah, nations. 6 categories. I think there was a 7th, which was the new E-Class.
Yes, he had Junior, Senior, Mini, Micro, DD2 Master, and E20, so the new electric Rotax. Yeah, so quite a few. But
so massive, absolutely huge.
I can imagine.
And, we were all pulled together in one huge tent. So the atmosphere in there when everybody's getting ready to go or coming back from their races. And as the week goes on, it's such a long week. It's like you're at the track for 6 days. And they're long days because you're only on track for a few minutes, 10 minutes, 8-10 minutes per session, and 3 sessions a day. So you're there for the whole day waiting for your session. So you know the atmosphere builds, and it continues to build over the course of the event, and obviously crescendos at the end with the finals. So yeah, amazing event. Recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, definitely. So you got to get there first. You got to get the ticket to get there, don't you? Yeah, you can't just rock up. Unfortunately, you have to win an entry to it. But about the weekend, because like you said, it's a very long weekend. Lots to think about, lots to go through. But like you say, you're only on track for a short amount of time. Now, you have the huge awning, the big tent where all the competitors are in there. What was it like in there? Because I can imagine very noisy, very busy. Was there lots of driver banter in there as well?
There was. I mean, you know, you're next to other teams, other countries, as you've got visitors coming in. It's very loud, but it all makes you know, adds to the atmosphere. And as I said, when you're getting ready for the sessions, you're pushing your kart out, and you're meeting the other drivers from your class, and you know, you're joining them on the journey to the grid for, you know, your next session or your next race. So yeah, you can feel the tension build, and you know, it's a great feeling when you obviously then get to the track, and you have your event, and you finish and come back. It's roller coaster of I was gonna say emotion, perhaps a bit cliched, but yeah, it's a special feeling, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, the
And
race.
also,
Go.
because it was on the weekend. Sorry, it was on the weekend of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final,
Yes.
when it was the showdown between Lewis and Max, and
Don't want to
obviously after that
enrage
pit
the
stop,
public.
everybody stopped what they were doing and was staring at the screen, because
Yeah.
there's big screens in the tent. And yeah, obviously the Hamilton fans won't like it, but the tent erupted as Max stuck it down the inside. I didn't celebrate, but yeah, that was interesting. It was nice to have it on that weekend, that's for sure.
It all stayed like civil and calm though in the tent. There wasn't no fights broke out after the F1
No
results.
fights. No,
I
it
can
was all
imagine.
above board.
All above board. Good. Excellent to hear. I mean, and the final race, of course, for yourself as well. I think it finished eighth, so eighth fastest in the world, of course. 33 drivers took to that final. I think out of the 36, I think 3 didn't even start the race in that one. But, you know, a fantastic race it was. I was actually just watching it back again, because I was watching it live on the time, but I was just watching it back a moment ago, hearing Henry Burdett's voice as he's been commentating for 5 days straight. I think he was knackered, the poor chap. But again, the running of it looked like such an immense sort of situation to be in, knowing that you're racing for a world title as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was alluding to earlier. It builds up over the course of the event, and on the final, you grid up on the grid, which is another. It just adds to the build up of the pressure, and my first world final. So yeah, pressure and nerves were at the max. But obviously when you were doing the formation lap or the warming up lap, you just go into the normal race mode, and you got to give it your best.
Yeah.
So and obviously it'd gone really well in every heat for me up until that point, and I could taste. You know, I was at the front, you know, second row at starting, P4, and obviously had a plan to try and take the lead as you would from that point.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It didn't go according to plan though. The guy in front of me didn't go at the start, so had to go to a plan B, which I made up as I was going along. But yeah, it was an awesome fight in the 22 laps. I think that was a long final.
I think 20. Yeah, I think it's 21 laps. I think was the final. But
but
I think you did 22 because you had a false start anyway. So yeah, there was a false start in your race. So yeah. So you did 22. You're right. Yeah, 22. Yeah. No, but yeah, it is absolutely fantastic. I've not been out for the World Grand Finals myself. I'd love to go out. So it's Portimao, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be out there. So hopefully you'll be out there too. Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit more closer to home for yourself, because obviously the Rotax Max Swiss Championship, Alpha Live broadcasted the first round, and of course of that one, an absolutely fantastic run and a great show. Reigning champion yourself as well in that. How does that feel, knowing that you hold the Swiss championship title for Rotax?
Yeah, I mean, it's super special. It's kind of a bit surreal because it's my second championship that I've competed in my time in karting. The other years I was doing sort of odd races. So to start a championship and end as Swiss champion is a unique feeling. And yeah, it feels great, obviously, getting back to the track and defending that title. So I'm trying to avoid thinking that there's more pressure on me this year than last year. So yeah, I'll just attack it as normal and just have fun. I mean, I think it's easy to forget sometimes that it is, you know, a luxury sport, and for most drivers, it is, you know, a hobby, even if you're fighting for a world title. So yeah, super important to remain, yeah, that frame of mind, have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I think a lot of people do forget that in karting, that
mm,
it is supposed to be fun. Yes, okay, it can be a serious
mm,
sport, and a lot of people do take it
of course.
seriously, but
Mm,
there is that fun aspect of it, and I do
mm,
feel like some people do lose that, which is a huge shame. But in terms of karting in itself, how did it become a part of who you are, of what you wanted to be? Where did it all kick-start for you in karting?
it's probably when I used to go to Brands Hatch and Silverstone with my dad when I was a little boy, and he liked his cars as well. He'd obviously take me for rides, and I just loved cars, as many young boys
Mm?
uh, do. And I think I must have seen some karts going around the track and was fascinated. And since, you know, I can remember, I've wanted to have a go. And and yeah, I think when I was 12 years old, I had a go in sort of some indoor karts, and yeah, it just kick-started an obsession, really, a healthy obsession, I'd like to add.
Yes.
So yeah, it just kept stepping up from yeah, like corporate karting to where I did sort of small championships when I was, yeah, 12, to Club 100. I did a few. Mostly, it started with endurance racing,
Hmm.
and then I did the BUKC, British Karting Championship, and then more pro karting in the endurance championship, the BPEC it was called at the
Yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and obviously did quite a few 24-hour races. That was a great team effort with some friends from uni. And yeah, I just decided I wanted to try sprint racing, and then I switched to sprint racing in 2012. And then 2014, I'd won the TKM Interclub Championship, and that's when I started working for Formula One. So I had to park my karting boots,
Whoa.
2014, and well, they were there, still taunting me.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I got back into it again, 2017, and obviously moved to Switzerland 2019, and had to continue. And that's when obviously um, Corona hit, so that put a stopper on some things.
God, we need to forget about
Delayed everything by a year.
Didn't
Yeah,
happen.
sorry. Yeah, it's featured in there though, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, 2021 was a season. I thought, you know what, let's give it a go, all out, see what we can do.
That's mega.
And yeah, the DD2 Championship is quite popular in Switzerland.
Mm.
There's not any, I don't think, DD2s in England.
No, no, no,
Um,
no. I don't believe there is any. So
no,
it's yeah, no,
so
it's absolutely fantastic. Like it sounds like, going from that sort of rental side of it, Club 100, at
mm,
BUKC, there's a lot of drivers who are in that now who race in it, and you always think, oh, where can I go from here, sort of thing. Well, I mean, all you have to do is look at Mike Hitchcock. He's gone from that
yeah,
to racing in the Rotax Max Grand Finals. So it is one of those things that it can still happen. You just
absolutely.
gotta put the effort into it. And I mean, what sort of advice would you give to the drivers from Club 100 who are racing there
Mm.
now, or BUKC?
Yeah, I mean, my advice would be go to one of the circuits in the UK that are running the club meetings for sprint racing. Find a, go and talk to the teams, make some contacts, see how much it costs, and try and put a budget together, to see how many races you can do, if you can do a championship, or if you can just start with just club rounds. It's obviously expensive, and it pays to make sure you can afford to do the level that you want to do. So it starts with making a budget. so that you don't get those big bills at the end and think, oh no, I can't afford this, and then it makes it stressful. So you want to alleviate that stress and put the budget together, speak to teams, find out what you can afford, because budget does dictate, unfortunately, what it is or how you can start moving up that ladder. Persevere.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very busy, it is an expensive sport. No matter how much you say, oh, you know, this is a cheap championship, it's a cheap championship. But at the end of the day, it does cost, and it is one of those things, and it's one of those things that lingers in the back of a lot of people's minds. Now, obviously, we were saying that you were working with the Formula One, you were with the Alfa Romeo team, who are based in Switzerland itself. The season itself looking good so far this year, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's absolutely going really well. I think possibly better than expectations. And we've got obviously Bottas doing a great job, and we've got Joe who's also doing a good job, but seems to be just on the receiving end of some bad luck. So as soon as that luck can change, then I think we're going to be very strong and have some good results from both drivers. So yeah, already at race 5, which is crazy considering it's only been a couple of months. So race 6 Barcelona next week, double header with Monaco. So yeah, it's rolling.
It is rolling, isn't it? A busy old week. We are vastly running out of time. One more thing, just to get you off. Now, to speak about this a little bit before you hadn't seen it yet. Valtteri Bottas' latest Instagram post. What do you think?
Oh, wow. Well, it's quite shocking, but I think it's on point with
he's expressing himself.
His personality. He's expressing himself, and he's obviously spurred on by the fact that his previous I'm not sure what I can say. His previous team, perhaps not quite as strong as they were. So I don't know if that plays a part. But he's obviously loving life, and a great decision by him to move. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But he's definitely on a high at the moment with that. So yeah, perhaps you can see more of these these pictures from him.
Hopefully not. No.
Depends who you are. Depends what you like. So.
No, brilliant stuff. Mike Hitchcock, thank you so much for taking your time out your busy schedule chatting with us. Best of luck for the rest of the 2022 season, and huge thank you for yourself for your time.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
On to our third and final guest of this week's podcast, or this month's podcast, I should say. We're here with Joe Turney, factory Tony Kart driver. Joe, firstly, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Thanks for having me on. Just enjoying a bit of time off at the moment at home. Bit of training and stuff like that. So, no, I'm all good, thank you.
A bit of time off, but we're going to take time out your day to do a podcast. There we go. I'm sure you're appreciating this one. I could be playing games, racing games right now at home, but no, there we go. Joe, of course, a very busy person in your racing career at the moment. Very successful in your younger years of karting as well. Talk us. How's your week been? What have you been up to recently?
Well, the last week I've been fairly busy considering I'm actually not racing myself. A bit of training, as I said before, so just bike riding, stuff like that, down at the gym occasionally. But last weekend I was actually working with an English team here, coaching some drivers, which is something that I'm able to do when I'm off from racing myself. I like to help the younger drivers, and that's what's been keeping me busy over the last week. So I might be back at another race this weekend in England doing that. But it's something that I enjoy, and so that's what's keeping me busy.
Can't get away from the tracks, really, can you? But talk us about it, because like we were saying, you started karting from a young age, 10 years old. But in terms of UK karting, that's quite late in the game, really, isn't it? What made you start karting in the first place at that age?
Well, as a kid, I was always into racing. I didn't come from a racing family, but I was from a family that liked to watch F1, so I grew up watching it, playing with cars and stuff like that. So I went first karting, as you said, quite late. I think I was 10 when I went first corporate karting. I didn't start proper karting, let's say, until I was 11. So that is quite late, because we have people now who are in junior categories even at 11 years old, and they're racing karts with 30 horsepower. And at that time, I was still corporate karting around my local track in Milton Keynes. So yeah, I did start late, but I just wanted to go karting for fun at a birthday party. That was what I wanted to do first of all, and then it all sort of rolled on from there. I started going a bit more regularly for fun, doing quite well, entered a small championship at the rental track, and from there it all snowballed into regional races, national races, and then international races.
It's absolutely fantastic, isn't it, to go from corporate karting and then becoming, international competitor and winning championships to your name, all from a karting birthday party. I'm sure that's quite an achievement in itself, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It happened over quite a short period as well. I think my first international race was in 2015. Or 2016 at the Rotax Grand Finals, which I think, Henry, you were probably at.
He's nodding his head. He's nodding his head.
I'm nodding ahead because I was going to bring something up there, but didn't you get excluded from that final?
Henry
in Sarno. I'm just possibly there was some issue in the last race. I seem to recall that was most unlike you.
There were, I think I may have excluded. I'm not sure. There was definitely a penalty. I had a crash with someone on the track. I remember that. But that was a hard week. I had the speed to win it. My first international race. It was the grand finals. I had the speed to win it. And I had a crash in the final, which makes it even more annoying when you're quick enough to win. So, but that all happened in the space of a few years, going from rental karting to national races. So. No, it went well, let's say.
I mean, so you started off. You went to a friend's birthday party. Is that right?
It was my birthday party.
Oh, it was your birthday party.
Yeah. So I think we'd driven past the rental track a couple of times, and my mum was like, "What would you want to do for your birthday?" I went with my sisters and one of my mates. There was only 4 of us, so we just went round. It came back another week later or whatever, and started from there.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if you went to someone else's birthday party, every time that you win a major event, you need to go and thank that thank that mate. It's because you had a birthday party there. That's what got me started. But I mean, this year you've had, it's been a phenomenal season for you. Won the WSK Supermaster Championship.
Mm-hmm.
2 wins out of 2. So in the FIA European karting championship, I think you got a perfect point score with 2 rounds to go. It's really just, everything is just, you in that zone where every driver has it, where everything is just right. It clicks. You're in that zone.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I think in every sport you have peaks and troughs really on your performances, and when the team's doing well and when you're doing well. And at the moment, it just seems like everything we've done this year has sort of turned to gold, really. Like, we can't think, in the last 7 races we've been on the podium 6 times, which is, I don't think anyone's done that recently in any class. It's really difficult to do. I mean, you can be the fastest at every race, but it doesn't mean that you'll be on the podium every race, because things happen like that. But we've managed to, along with luck, good speed, experience and everything, and the team working well, we've managed to make sure that we're on the podium every time. But yeah, as I say, you have peaks and troughs, and I think as I'm a bit older now, I realise that you can't win every single race that you go to. But if third's the best we can get, we need to make sure we finish there, and that's what we're doing at the moment. So, okay, the last 2 races we've won, which is obviously great, but we don't expect that to keep happening in every race we go to. But we need to make sure that we're at the front as high up as possible, so that we come away with the championship, which I think we can do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because I think Portimao, the first rounds, there was, obviously there's controversy over that event, but you came away with a win. Zuera, the last round of the Europeans. I mean, you were unstoppable. I think is one way to describe it. I mean, I know that it obviously you make it look easier than what it was. It must have been a really difficult, weekend. But yeah, just from an outsider's perspective, watching, it looked as though kart and driver and tyres and engine were all working in perfect harmony, which is such a rare occasion to get everything clicking, in that one event. And it just showed that you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, we were at the track 2 weeks before we had a race there. Not the FIA European, the Champions of Future race. So it's essentially a warm up race, and we only finished 4th in the final there. So obviously we had a weekend off, but during that weekend the guys went back to the factory, dynoing the engines. They never stopped really. So it's a big thanks to them that they went back and they spent the week that I was off, they were working and making sure that the material was good enough to win, which we went back the next weekend and we won every race and the final. So it's a big thanks to them, because we were only 4th at the weekend before, not quite quick enough to win, and then it made it look like it made it look easy on the next weekend. So although I did my job the same as the weekend before, the difference was in the team really.
And that must be a great feeling to be part of such an incredible team as well. Because I mean, there'll be a lot of drivers who will watch this, privateer drivers, maybe team drivers as well, who just don't know what the experience is to be like with such a prestigious team with yourself. What does it feel to be part of the Tony Kart team?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It is a fantastic experience to be with them. I've been with them 3.5 years now, and I basically just have full trust in the team. Like, if I go to every race believing that we can win it, and if we don't win it, then I believe that we can do the work, go into the next race and be able to win that one. So it's something that you don't have with many teams, that you can look at their results in the past, you can see how much they've achieved, so you can put full trust into that. They want to get back to the front, and most of the times, 9 out of 10 times, they do end up back at the front.
I mean, so I think 2020, you finished 2nd in the World Championships behind your teammate, Callum Bradshaw.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding
obviously,
me. Obviously,
Henry, you've done it again.
Well, no. I mean, but now obviously you're the leader. I mean, you're the leader of the Tony Kart team. I mean, there's got to be, I mean, I know a driver, and every driver says, look, we take one race at a time, and the next race, the next race, the next race. There's, with how things are going so far, is there a small part of you that has just got that weekend in September at Sarno sort of circled in your mind, and sort of there's a thought about that it's lurking somewhere in the recesses of your mind about what could be possible?
Yeah, of course. I've won a title before, an international title at the Miami International Final. So
that was a fantastic race. You and Clayton Ravenscroft at the end of that race, your teammate for the KR Sport team. That was a fantastic race.
I very almost didn't win it. I think it was 0.014 on the line or something. So no, I still make sure Clayton knows about that. But, having won an international event, it's obviously nice, but I haven't won the official one yet. I haven't won the official World Championship. So I've done it 3 years in a row now, the official World Championship. Alabama, I was quick enough to win, blew up an engine in one of the heats. Portimao, obviously very quick, came 2nd. And then last year, we had a crash in a heat, but I came in the final 15th through to 6th. We finished 6th from 15th. So it's a race that every year we go to, and it feels different for a driver as well to go to the World Championship. It's just a weird sort of feeling you get when you go there. Every person is there to win. Every team is there to win. And where it's different to a European event, whereas in a European you come 2nd and you're happy because you got the points, you go to the next round. With the World Championship, no one cares about being 2nd, no one cares about being 3rd. All right, I got the Vice World Championship, which is great, whatever, but at the end of the day, no one remembers that. Only people remember the first. So yeah, I need to get on the top of that one. That's the plan.
I can imagine, because it's the same in the UK. You know, you get a lot of club championships and everything like that, but then everyone wants to race in the British champs, and then that again is just another league to like the world championships. Because like you say, it is cutthroat, really, isn't it? At the end of the day, you know, everyone is there, like you said, to win, and if you don't, it becomes one of those things on your mind. Like, you know, I mean, talk us through the challenges that you've had to go through in terms of getting to where you've been to, you know, try and get to the top, because I suspect it's been pretty difficult.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to get to where I am now, it's taken a lot of my life, obviously, a lot of my family's life. It's taken a lot of money and resources to do it. So I'm really grateful for them. It's taken a lot of time from teams that I've worked with to make sure that I'm at the best which I can be, to make sure the equipment's the best that it can be. So I've had a lot of people give a lot of time and effort to me. So I'm extremely grateful for that. So yeah, it's to get to the top of any sport, it takes effort, time, money. So it's no different to any sport in that sort of thing, that you need to be committed and you need to put your life to it, essentially.
Henry, any final questions that you've got?
Well, I mean, obviously, just to wish Joe the best of luck. And I mean, it just goes to show that Joe, you touched on it there, that you're not from a wealthy family, you're not from a motorsports based family, and yet through like hard work, dedication, talent, you can call yourself one of the handful of professional kart racers in the world. I mean, I don't think, I'm trying to think of another professional kart racer, a British professional kart racer at the moment. There might be one or two, but I mean, obviously, it goes to show it's quite an inspiring story. It goes to show that yes, you can, get there. Like you said, obviously a lot of sacrifice and things like that. But I mean, the life of a professional kart racer. Do you still pinch yourself sometimes when you say, "Oh, what's your job? I'm a professional kart driver."
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, sometimes I think even in Zuera, it was a bit weird. There was a few laps left, and I knew I had a big gap behind, and I knew that if everything stayed together and I didn't make a huge mistake, I was going to win the race. So Zuera, the tracks, you got long straights, you have a lot of time to actually sit and think about what's going on. And I was actually sat there thinking, this isn't too bad actually. Like, this is my job, and I'm about to win this race, and it will take me to the top of the European Championship. And it was just a bit of a weird moment. I don't know why it sort of came into my head, but yeah, it is.
Well, yes, Zuera is a very long track, and you're working with KR Sport on the weekends, and obviously Jordan Chamberlain is the head of heads up the Rotax arm of KR Sport, and sadly, unfortunately, Jordan knows all too well about that Zuera can be a long track, and if you take your focus off, take your focus off the racing line for 1 second, then a pesky little Dutchman called Nick de Vries can overtake you with half a lap to go. Wales could have had a world karting champion.
Maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future, but best of luck for the rest of the year, Joe.
Thank you very much, guys. Nice one.
Yeah, we will be watching very closely, Joe, when you progress this year. But thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to chat to us. Huge thank you to yourself. And like Henry said, best of luck for the rest of this season and for, of course, all the future seasons as well.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Thanks for having me on. Cheers.
Well, there we go, Henry. We're at the end of the show already. It goes by quickly, doesn't it? But huge thank you to all of our guests.
Good one.
It has been a good one. International flinge to it. I don't know if flinge is a real word. I'm sure it's a real word.
No, international flavour to it. But I love it. We're into the real meat and bones of the season now. There's loads of things going on. There's loads of events coming up. We're going to be with you. This is now, We're really into the thick of the season. I love it.
We are indeed. Huge thank you to our 3 guests, of course, Joe Turney, Joe Paterson and Mike Hitchcock joining us. And again, we do wish them all the best in their upcoming ventures out on circuit. Ladies and gentlemen, you must make sure you do stick with the Alpha Life YouTube channel as well, because there is plenty of racing coming up. Warden Law for the British Kart Championships. Myself and Henry will be there for round 2 for the X30 classes.
Can't wait to go to Sunderland.
Can't wait
for the
indeed.
weekend.
And I'm pretty sure that they've tarmacked their paddock now, so it's all nice and lovely. So it should be all good. Club 100 for the cadets at Buckmore Park. They're round 1. First time they're going to be live streamed on the Alpha Live YouTube channel as well, so make sure you don't miss out on that one. T-side sprints. T-side sprints. We're live again with T-side sprints. Chicken parma. Would you like one?
No, T-side is Middlesbrough. We can have a chicken parlo, which is flattened, battered chicken, breaded with bechamel sauce on it, and 9 million calories in one sitting. Perfect.
Sounds absolutely terrible. There we go.
Oh, you haven't lived. But I mean, you mentioned about Club 100. Obviously, great news with the cadets. You know, that's an expansion for them. But also great news with Buckmore Park.
Yes.
You know, we're saying that the Medway Valley Kart Club.
Yeah. They had their first club meeting not long ago again. So they're back racing.
Really good to see.
Yeah, proper open wheel karting. Of course, they did have the F100 classes go there recently as well. So they're open wheel karting. But it's finally good to see a karting club. Yeah, it has been reborn indeed. So yeah, they're going to be back for that one. And of course, for any bike fans watching, MX Nationals, they're heading to Ling MX Track, of course, soon next weekend, I'm pretty sure. So make sure you subscribe for that one. Make sure you don't miss out on it. But plenty of action coming up on the Alpha Live YouTube, Henry, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Just keep tuned and keep your comments coming in. If obviously you're listening on Spotify, then there's no comments. But if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, please keep your comments coming in, saying what kind of guests you'd like to see, because we need to have feedback from you guys, the listeners, the viewers, so that we can provide the best. We continue to provide the best related podcast anywhere in the UK, if not the world. The world is not enough, and that's the world is not enough. Maybe the title of this podcast, because it's been international flavour.
Oh, I like that.
Maybe.
Oh, I looked the wrong way. There we go. Maybe. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for tuning in with us. We'll be back next month with episode 4.
Bye.